All right, Joe Walker here, Yonah Mountain Farms. It is Thursday, November 13th, about 9 a.m. And we are on a mission this morning to get the goats moved from back here to, I don't know if you guys can see this behind me. But here, let's just walk over there. But yeah, so back here is an old gate that's going to the neighbor's property. So the neighbor gave us permission to graze this down here. Now, basically property line runs all the way down, but this is to the right is what we've been grazing. The sheep and the goats have hit all this. They are now on that ditch back there. So we're gonna have to skip this paddock. I'm gonna have to get a lane through here. You know, just basically a 3-foot path is all I need in order, just enough room to run my netting. And then I'd say this is probably a good 20 feet, 30 feet thick before it opens up to basically their pasture. So the game plan is get the sheep and the goats over here. This is going to help us tremendously because it's going to help manage our fence line. So, you know, there's an old barbed wire fence in here that we just decided to run a single strand of the high tensile, good bit off of it, simply, you know, for simplicity's sake. But now, so you can kind of see this is the left side. So now I'm basically going to be able to run my goats and sheep right into there. They're going to help clean all the brush off of this high tensile fence, and we'll do it just like we did it, at on the creek bank over there. So I don't know if you guys have seen that video, but I'll essentially just prop this wire up with some long 6-foot tall fiberglass rods, and the goats and sheep will be able to go right under it. And right about here is where I'm going to go through with the other part of the netting. So we'll be able to condense them on this. They'll have a little bit of pasture on the other side, but I'm going to have to remove some of this old barbed wire here, probably this entire section from at least here to back to where that gate was, which is only about 70 or 80 feet or so. But then the netting will run here around. We'll have to create a lane from there to here, so the goats and sheep will just shoot right over, and then it'll be happy grazing. So because of this, because the neighbors decided to let us use it, and it's actually mutually beneficial. I mean, she's not going to have to bush hog it or whatnot this year. I'll be able to run the animals over. So my plan is it's 33 acres. We will get approximately 60 to 70 paddocks. So my game plan is to run 1/2 to 3/4 acre paddocks, basically a 4 netting paddock, with every other day moves for 60 or so days to get through it. And if we start that today, being November 13th, we're looking at approximately mid-January. And at that point, we'll pull them back over here to this farm. So unless we see we can run smaller paddocks and you know, or larger paddocks, less frequent moves, we tend to go smaller paddocks, more frequent moves. But anyway, that's the game plan. Get the goats and sheep from there to here, and about to get started on that. right, that worked out great. Got us a nice path straight through here. So now I'll be able to run my netting. Be able to make that lane straight across. Run my netting through here. And whole brand new field. So this is what we'll be working through over the winter. All right, Joe Walker here. It is Friday, November 14th, about 20 minutes to 10. And yesterday I set up the paddock, but I did not get the goats moved because Mama right here had a set of twins, and I just didn't want to try to actually skip a paddock to get over to the new stuff. So just got here to this section of the farm this morning, and basically in order to skip a paddock, you kind of got to go across. Well, for us in this situation, we got to go across a paddock that they already hit. So basically I just opened this up and now I'll be able to open it up on this other side further down. So the goats and the sheep are going to cross over this, and then we're going to get to the new paddock. So basically utilizing this this other land is really going to help us. I think a lot of people run into problems with trying to manage the livestock, in particular goats, holistically because of their stocking density. So they end up having to use drugs, chemical dewormers, antibiotics, or whatnot because they don't have enough space to run the goats. So kind of some general rule of thumbs that we like to follow is keep them moving, number one. So they have to go on fresh paddocks. I don't like to keep them any longer than, sorry, I was just checking out this one over here. Thought she might have looked like it kind of looked like she might have had a baby, but I don't think so. But anyhow, rule number one, we keep them moving. So I don't like for them to be in a spot any more than 2 days at a time, and depending on the season, even more frequently. So over the summer, when parasite pressure is at its peak, we want to move them every day, sometimes twice a day. Now, in addition to that, the barber pole worm, which is the intestinal parasite that has the most detrimental effect on goats and sheep, can live, depending on the conditions, without a host on the soil or on the plants for up to 180 days. So that's where the complexity comes in. So you need to be able to change paddocks daily and then not come back on the same paddock for 180 days. And that's what we've been doing here for a while now, and we haven't had to worm the goats or the sheep in years. Now, I have selectively wormed some animals, and when we do selectively worm an animal, it would be a ewe that we plan on retaining in the flock. And the only reason I have ever done that is when it was obvious that there were parasite issues. And honestly, we've never caught it in time. They end up dying anyway. And so kind of the point where we're at with it now is, if I can't manage in a way to grow this food and raise these animals holistically without drugs and chemicals, then I don't even want to raise them. So that's why it is utterly important or dramatically important for us to move these animals constantly. And so with access to this other pasture, this other 33 acres, there haven't been animals on this in decades, other than obviously wildlife, deer. But they've bush hogged it at least once a year, I believe. So there's plenty of stockpile. Let's walk through here before I let these guys in. But there's so the sheep and goats already had this, and they actually had it about probably a week or so ago before they went this way. Then we hit this ditch, and now we're skipping this paddock and coming to the neighbors. So yeah, we cleared out a lot of the barbed wire yesterday, and I have my high tensile. We actually got to where we can open that gate, but there's a pile of debris right on the other side of this fence that I didn't want to give them access to, so I kind of had to adjust my plans. And all this barbed wire was kind of falling down anyway on these posts, so removed that, coiled it up, and used my trusty 6-foot tall fiberglass post with a notch, so that enables the sheep and the goats to just go right under this. And that's the other benefit of getting to utilize the neighbor's land, which, by the way, we wouldn't get to utilize if we were using chemicals. So, and honestly, that's how we've gotten pretty much that's how we've gotten most of our land, is which we have, I guess this would now be property number 4 that we are currently managing, that kind of opens it up to about 110 acres or so. But anyway, that's irrelevant. But we wouldn't have gotten this if it weren't for our regenerative practices, because of our commitment to not use chemicals. We don't want to spray the pastures. We don't want to vaccinate the animals. We don't want to worm them. Like I said, if I got to do all that, you might as well go to the grocery store and get your meat, if that's what you want. So we are committed to no drugs, no chemicals, and raising these animals holistically. But anyhow, you quit jibber jabbering. And so now, because of that, we are able to run this combo goats and sheep into this whole other 33 acres, which getting through what was the fence line is a bit difficult. Lots of blackberries, multiflora rose, which makes for a good time setting up this netting. But anyhow, so here's what we're coming into. So this is the tree line, fence line that separates the properties, and this is actually one of 4 fields. So the plan is to run half-acre paddocks, every other day moves, and cover this 60 acres in 120 days or so. And then by then, so we're talking 4 months, so November, December, January, February, March, it'll be perfect timing to roll back onto the other farm. And that'll kind of make sure we hit those parameters of not being in the same spot for more than 2 days, and not returning on a spot within 180 days. And you know, that basically depends on the season as well. So the winter time is when their eggs can go dormant. But it's just a good general rule of thumb that we like to follow. And obviously, I would never consider this a prescription, because there are entirely too many variables when it comes to holistic management of multiple species. So anyhow, let's get them over here and goats. So basically what I did also is Mama wants to hang out with her new babies, so that's fine. I'm not going to worry about her. We're just going to move these guys, and we'll leave it open. Mama can come along and bring her babies whenever she's ready. If I do have to close it off, that's fine too. I'll just keep a dog in with her, and she'll be good. Whenever she's ready, she'll just come over here and bring her babies with her. Goats. Goats. Ship. Goats. Ship. So they're a little upset that I tricked them this morning, but we're going to make up for it. Tricked them this morning by opening them up to an old paddock. Ship. Goats. Ship. Goats. Goats. Ship. Goats. Goats. Ship. Hey, Mama. Let's go. So I did put the bucks back in the other day, so that's what we got going on here. He is quite excited. The black one is another buck. So they have been doing their duties. Goats.